Okay, welcome to episode 5, year 2. Yeah, we hit the end of winter. Right before winter, we were at 50%. Winter hit, dropped down to 47. Didn't get a body. We had 3 food groups going out. That's pretty nice. Getting veggies. Didn't expect veggies so soon. Not going to get apples until the end of the year. But the apple production won't be at full capacity. It'll have to be after 3 years. Then you start pulling in apples. So now we're just on a super fast forward kick because there isn't much we can do with just 2 people. Because if we stop keeping the granary full, our favor will decrease again. We can only keep the granary worker out for short periods. So we sent them out, collect enough for the month, put them back in the granary, so we won't take point hits. Because we have to keep these 100%. We got our first resident coming in. Up to 3 people now. 3 families now. Yeah, so you send the granary worker out. The stall still has the food on it. So when you go out and do something, you come right back in, you can quickly recover the 100% and not get the negative hits. But you have to be careful, especially when I'm running at super speed. So they can only be out there for a little bit and come back in.
Berries so plump and juicy, you'll want to eat them by the bushel.
Just going to speed through April. And we have five houses, three people. So we're going to need to expand the houses so that there's going to be room available for people coming in.
Don't be shy, good sirs and ladies.
This part's kind of boring and exciting at the same time because we're so close to losing. And here we are finally gaining people, up to 4 families. But there's not much we can do. So that's the boring part. We just sit here and wait. But it's a relief having that favor in the green. But now that we have people, we don't have to pull people out of the granary. Granary work can just stay there. Now we have people out cutting wood. And speed through May. want to develop this mine pretty soon, but we don't have enough people. We need to expand more housing. We want to because we're on June and 5 people, because we're on a spoilage, food spoils. We want to create another one of these, just so that, and they're not going to be harvested at the same time. So like, because they were built at different times, their development cycles will as one starts spoiling, the other one starts harvesting, and we'll be able to keep a steady flow of food, even though half of it's spoiling. Okay, so we have enough wood. We need to start collecting logs. We need logs to upgrade these houses. And we don't have enough time to collect all the logs that we need before July comes around, so we're gonna miss a family because we're at capacity. So no growth for July. You have to be careful about the borders, because sometimes where your camera is positioned, where you're looking at, if the camera is on the other side of the border, then your values disappear. And then to get them back, you have to go across the border and come back. And we have enough firewood now. We're gonna have to build another sawmill. I want to move this log cutter more towards the right by this road, because this is more towards the center. Will be more centric to the town. And eventually I'll pull the hitching posts over here too. Ultimately, I'll want 2 sawmill right there, and then the vegetable people I'll put into those into the sawmill. But later on I'm going to show how to efficiently do the sawmill, because construction takes precedence over the sawmill. So nothing will go into the sawmill, even if you have people in there, if you're building. But there's a way to make it so that even though you're building, you're still producing planks. And I'm going to do later on, whenever I get this right side developed, I'm going to do a little guide on that. Okay, we need some planks so we can upgrade these buildings. We have 1 available, so we're not going to miss out on August. We're getting close to 75%. It's a far cry from being in the gutter and people leaving, and now people are saying, hey, we love this place. But still, not in a position to upgrade any buildings to level 2. I wanna fill this up, this stone cutter up, get rid of all the stone, demolish the building, and then start building out that way. Gonna have to get this tannery working, because we have like seven leather, and with people coming in, need to be able to cover that. The nice thing about these duplexes that you only need one item for it. We gained a little bit of extra materials. You don't get a lot of loot from bandits because you don't usually kill all of them. But as the war progresses with invasions and in the Baron and being successful, we'll be able to build up an excess of military goods. However, this town will have the metal production to be able to just create. But before that gets started, it'd be nice. Also, another thing to keep in consideration too when you're developing is, right now, I think we can technically create a manor. But once you do, you're going to have to start paying taxes. And we don't have a trade post out to create a taxable income source. So the money that we gain from the bandit camps is just going to vanish, because it's all going to go to the king and then dip into the red. And then if we do have to hire mercenaries, we're not going to be able to do that. That's another thing you need to be considerate of. Knowing when to create the manor. Although you get to the retinue, but still, we don't have enough money to be able to create a 24-man retinue. So you have to make sure that you get your trading situated before building your manor. This is where I'm going to start building and create another octagon. Have it on pause. for a moment. So what you want to do is make a circle. If you're going to make another octagon and you want to clear out an area for it, you create a circle that's just as big as your octagon, and then have the bottom overlap the top, and then that circle that you just created will ensure that you'll be able to clear enough area for a new octagon. I'm going to have the woodcutters help clear that area to be able to get to it faster. Don't need the granary up anymore. They're going to be permanent workers there. So you have 7 leather. Technically, you don't have enough leather. Once we get 2 more people, we're going to have to get the tannery back up. Okay. Most likely need to move that well. Good for 7 months until we get people. You know, I always hear dogs barking, but never see the dogs. Another thing is that when you get to a point like this, and you're able to satisfy at least one person in like the hunter shop, one person in collecting berries, one person in tannery, and you have the storehouse and granary running, you can go to a different map and start developing another town side by side. and you won't have to actually pay attention to this one anymore, because all their needs are satisfied. However, the housing situation will stop growing but getting to this point, you're kind of set to go any direction you want to go with your town. This one's going to go towards mining, obviously, because it has a clay and iron rich deposit. And I'm going to have to build a lot of housing here. And so that I can rank up a few houses, but when you have a large scale development of level 1 houses, the favor averages out between all of your houses. So if you have like 5 level 2s but 20 level 1s, the complaints of the level 5s will be eclipsed by the 20 level 1 houses. And that's pretty much your goal. When you're trying to specialize in a town, you need to make enough level 1s before you can start ranking up your town and getting more of the development perks. And you need development perks to make that type of town possible. Like, I need to get the charcoal kill and the deep mine. So I need 2 more levels on this town before it can do what it needs to do. And I need to do it by the end of year 3, or the town's going to get invaded by raiders, or the Baron could get enough influence over time to choose to invade my town. Now that the camps are gone, the way the Baron is getting influence is it's assumed that he has a town like us off the map, and he's donating food to the church, and so slowly he gains influence. But for us, we can build a town out and make it so flush with food, we can send all the access to the church before it spoils and get massive influence gains, and allow you to expand into neighboring regions. And then when you have one area situated, you create an army of pack horses, or pack mules, and you send out resources to those areas, and then they can instantly start growing. Packing stations are one of the best parts of this game. We already have the bottom line made, so we don't have to make any more left and right. We just have to go straight out. We're at 7, 8. We're eight people. We have one house available. Gonna speed up this stone production. Ultimately, I'm going to remove that house. I want 2 sawmills right here. I'm looking at these roads because these are the roads that the traders go on, so I want to maximize a path where, you know, these 2 roads converge. So I'm going to connect them this way and then put a trade post connected to the crossroad. This way, when they come southward, they'll cut across this main road and then go into the trade post and then continue going down south. And in some buildings, I like just putting a road all the way around them. Turning some buildings will affect other buildings, so you have to be sure that you're mindful of that. Also, when you're placing things that you would destroy, like logs or felled trees, will highlight red, warning you. Coming close to winter. So if we place this here, we'll lose a log.
finest hides in all the land.
Sometimes when you want to order an ox, you have to make sure that the hitching post is complete, or sometimes the game bugs and it says that you're going to have an ox coming, but it never comes. I like putting roads around everything because it prevents the ox and the people from getting stuck. It's kind of funny that whenever you have like a militia or a mercenary group up, and then your ox will go through their path, the ox will just stop. Everyone will stop. The army will like say, "Go around us," but nothing happened. They just sit there and just like, the ox is like saying, "Move, move," you know. Alright, that log was removed. Now we can create a line. We can put that line out to mark the center. We can remove this one. We can remove this one because we've marked the line. And we connect. Still got a log up there. We don't need this. We don't need the center anymore, and we don't need the bottom one anymore. Go on, remove this log. Gonna have to build temporary housing because you can't get this area cleared fast enough. Stay out the winter obstructs your vision because the borders for your buildings are white, and with the snow on the ground, it makes it hard to see your alignment. I need to create some temporary storage, like I said before, or temporary housing. One thing to note, that even though you get that red hammer up there, and it says that you don't have any families available for construction, the ox will still deliver the goods. So you don't really have to focus on making people available, because they're not going to be able to do anything anyway because the wood's not there. I don't think we're gonna get this house up in time. We did. That was nice. That was... Oh yeah, another thing to pay attention to is upgrading a house like this where it's already has one available. If you hit the thing to make it a duplex and you don't get it done before the 1st or the 16th, you're not going to get a person coming in because the house was under construction. So you wait till someone actually moves into a house. Just lost a bunch of logs.
Come one, come all. Feast your eyes on our fine selection.
Don't need to settle on either. Almost done with that stonecutter cat. You see how at the top the available housing switches to +2, but there's actually 0 houses available. So if February hits and this isn't done, we won't get any people coming in.
Berries.
Alright, they got the house done.
Bursting with flavour. Fit for a king.
Look at that. Favor so high, we're going to get 2 families a month. If it doesn't drop down to 75. Or below 75. Drop to 74. Damn it. Okay, now I can be able to create my octagon. So put on pause. A little too hasty. I forgot to put the lines out and mark the center.
Let's go, people!
And did it to the top too. That's the supplies from the house is making this line awkward. So you get these dots right here on the hitching post that you can see, and the dots on the corpse pit, and you can eyeball it to effectively put hitching posts in the center.
Come on, people! Get to work!
And then you draw a circle around it, which is the easiest way to make a circle is with a hitching post. And you have a circle in the exact center. Once you got your 4 lines out and the center done, then you don't need any more course bits out there. Now it's just a matter of drawing your 3 circles. Now, if you don't want a big marketplace, or you don't want a marketplace at all in it, which is highly advisable to have a marketplace, then then you can just go with one circle outside of a hitching post. The middle circle doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to remember, be mindful of your positioning, so you move closer to where it becomes a little bit oblong, and then you can make a better circle, even though one of the circles was strange. Okay, we can't build a house in the lower left because of the supplies there were blocking us from making that line, but we can. Now you have to make sure your snap to road is done. But we can make houses for these three. That's a pretty good angle. The angle's pretty wide. And you're going to get these inconsistent angles because of this has an oblong. It isn't quite perfect circle, so you're not going to get the perfect angles. That turned out decent. Can't build a house here. Okay, so now we just have to wait for them to pick those logs up. Now the thing is that when you have logs in a supply like that, and then logs out in the open, they're going to prioritize the logs out in the open over the logs in a supply. Now, the reason why you want to have a marketplace in the other town and a granary and a storage is because now the burden to supply the town is split between these two areas, making it more efficient in getting your 100% out. Also, if you don't have a storage mod like I built, you have less. You only have the 2,500 storage in both areas. So that's why you would also do it, to split the burden of storage between the two areas. And they're relatively close together. That when you build industry or artisan houses, they'll have an equidistant travel between either granary or area. Now this, I spent way too much time on this.
Get to work!
So building this area was just normally you put three deep mines right there. But I ended up making a different video for that, and I will splice that together whenever I get that done. Yeah, it was like sitting here trying to figure out how to get 3 mines on that spot. Sat there way too long. When it's obvious when I'm only going to put 2 there, because I took up too much space from the housing. Stone cutters are done. And we get 4 people back to work, and we don't need a stone cutter lodge anymore. That's another change to my that we got to experience for the beginning of the thing, where I can set 4 families to a hunting. The storage is also increased. Doesn't have a huge impact. In the beginning, you'll be able to get a bunch of meat fairly quickly while you're waiting for your log cabin, your logging to get done. Hitching post is still there after remove it. But you're still limited by the game in the area. So even though you increase the storage, you increase the family slots, it's not going to matter. You're not going to get too much of a difference. Sometimes I have to build and uproot before I can get both of these to actually fit in the circle. Sometimes this takes a long time. Ideally, you want 12 stalls. As I said before, the granary has 6 workers, the storehouse has 6 workers. That is 12 stalls. But in a situation where you've created your circle a little too small, and you can only get 10 stalls, you got to keep in mind that your original circle has 16 stalls. So they have a surplus of 4. So in the event when you place 6 workers in each of the other locations, those 2 stalls that they're going to be creating will be placed in your surplus of 4, making it so that one area is going to help bolster the other, and it's fine. We've survived another winter, and with the coming of March, we are going to be completing year 2. And we'll stop here and start again year 3.